have the pleasure of Anthony and Kingsley joining us today, and we have two topics for you. Hey guys, how are you going today?
Awesome. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm surprised that it's Thursday already. I felt like I blinked and we were suddenly here again.
I woke up and we'd arrived in winter actually, so there you go.
Yeah, this weather has been a bit strange, hasn't it?
Fantastic.
All right, so Kingsley, do you want to kick it off with your doom and gloom tax information for today?
Yeah, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be doom and gloom, Louise. But obviously now we're in March, so for those people that are doing fringe benefits tax returns, or probably more for people who are paying an employee some sort of benefit for the first time and are doing fringe benefits, then this month's the end of the fringe benefits tax year. Some people don't realise that's not a June, July, that's a March, April year. So it will mean that if you're wanting to do something to get your fringe benefits tax bill down, there are things you can do legally to do that, then we're in the last month to do it. So I guess just a heads up for that. In terms of when you've got to then do the return, assuming you have an accountant, it's a bit of a funny one, because I think, what I get the dates here, to pay your fringe benefits tax, that's due by the 28th of May. But weirdly, this is real, to lodge the same return is the 25th of June. So you pay it before you lodge it. So, you know, it's a bit insane, because in order to have worked out how much to pay, you've effectively done it. So, but anyway, the date is the 25th of June to lodge if you're going through an accountant. So that's that one. So fringe benefits, if you've got it and you want to do something about it, you need to get onto it.
Kingsley, you mentioned this, and you know, you perked my attention there. This is not doom and gloom. This is exciting. What are some of the things people can do to reduce their fringe benefits liability?
I mean, it mostly centres around working out what makes sense for the employee to have paid themselves, and I guess also depending on how close you are to having. If there's not a lot of fringe benefits, then you might say, well, we're better off to go and pay a bit ourselves to get it gone, so that I don't have the time wasted of doing fringe benefits. I don't have to pay my accountant to do the return and so forth. But if you're well and truly in it, and your FBT bills tens of thousands of dollars, well, that's probably not an option. But then you get case by case. It's working out. In a sense, well, I can do this and pay, you know, $1,000, and the effect is getting my FB2 down by much more than that. And also, probably what I probably also said too is, depending on what arrangement you've got with your employee, and just making them understand, if they haven't been expressly told, that sort of a lot of arrangements are, okay, Bob, we're providing you with a car, but if there is fringe benefits, we are billing you. And it's coming. So, and then, you know, it's a question of, do they want to make a contribution? Have they been paying for the fuel or the servicing, the insurances, the red shows, whatever the case may be? So it's that sort of stuff, and just making sure everyone knows where they are.
Okay.
And if you're not sure about any of these things, give Kingsley a call.
It's definitely worth asking someone who knows about these things, because there's lots of TLAs.
Yeah, and then the TPAR part. Yes, my second part was some people will be aware there's this relatively new thing where if you've got a lot of subbies working for you, you have to go to the tax office typically by the end of August to say, through the course of the previous financial year, I paid $300,000 to subbies, and here they all are with their ABNs, and they go and cross-check that to make sure those subbies haven't been accidentally forgetting to put some revenue in their tax returns. And apparently there is about 60,000 businesses out there right now that have not done their TPAR returns for the 2020 year, which of course they should have done by the end of August last year. So it is a little bit late, and they're about to go and dong a few. So if you think you might be in that boat, it'd probably be a good idea to get in and get it done now, and you might avoid the penalty. And also, I think it started out saying it was predominantly focused on the building industries, but of course they've expanded the net out, you know, further and further and further. And I mean, you've got, you know, now we've got people in security. Who else have we got? Is, you know, that you would never have thought of before necessarily. You know, in the freight, if you're involved in freight in any shape or form, even some of the technology people are getting caught up in it. And one that I wasn't really aware of that could have caught people on account of COVID is if you're running a restaurant or a cafe, particularly through COVID, where you had to shut your, you know, your actual restaurant itself, but you could do the takeaways, and you were paying people to deliver the takeaways. The rules are that if that ended up representing more than 10% of your income, then you are supposed to be doing a TPAR report. And so there'll be a heap of people in the restaurant catering sort of industries that have probably never had anything to do with TPAR ever before. I would wager that probably their accountant never thought that that would ever apply to them and need to tell them. But technically, possibly in the year that's been, and it may never happen again, hopefully it doesn't, because it was a damn disease that caused it, but that may well be they should have done one for the 20 year, and the tax officers worked this out. So if you think you might be in that boat, also ring up your accountant and get yourself back in the good books quick.
Brilliant.
Right. Well, I probably need to think about those things then as well.
That's it for me. So it's over to Anthony for...
Anthony, on to you.
Okay. I've got a little hobby horse here. I'm going to on, and I'm sorry, but when you see something broken, you really can't walk past it. And there's two things which I've seen broken this week in more than one place. And I want to share these with you because they are really important things that we often forget about. When we're looking at an offer that we're taking to market, and when we're putting something out, there is a message there for an audience. There's two parts to that messaging. First of which is the offer or the message, and the second half is the medium. A lot of times we're going to blame the medium first. So what I mean by that is, let's say we've got a mailing list of 500 people we've spent the last 5 years building up, really engaged people, and we send the message out and no one buys it. Now, if we can take a step back and look at what we've done, a lot of the time we'll work out that what we're sending doesn't matter to the people we get to. But there's a lot of business owners and practitioners out there we've come across who are happy to send that same message again to the same people, and maybe again and even a fourth time, in the hope that, hey, I thought this was a really good offer, maybe people will buy it. But if they're not, what you're burning through your mailing list. You're going to find people unsubscribing. And we see this a lot across particularly small businesses where we're busy, going to put an offer out. If people don't jump on it the first time, well, it must be the medium, not the message that's broken. So we're going to have another crack at it. And we'll try it on Facebook, try it on Instagram, and we'll put it as an email. We'll send it as a text message. A better way of working with these things is to bring in a scientific or experimental mindset to it. And what I mean by that is, let's put it out amongst a small test group of our audience and see if it works for them. I've noticed that Facebook now offer a testing platform which allows us to put a test post out and find which two versions of it, which wording gets the better engagement. I've been able to do that on email lists for a long time. And there's other platforms you can do it. But by putting that test out, and if you're not getting the response that you want, engagement or ultimately the conversions you want out of it, take a step back and look at your offer. Look at the message you're sending and work out whether it's actually really matters who you're sending it to. Because I guess there is no clearer definition of insanity than doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. That's the first big hobby horse for the week. And if I was to have any success out of this forum and sharing this message, it would be that one person out there looking, you know, if it didn't work, maybe I need to try something else on a small sample rather than throw it out and I call it casino thinking. You know, we're going to put it on black and hope that it wins. My second hobby horse this week is something that I've spent way too long on with a customer, a large business, Eastern States-based business, who during the peak of the pandemic removed a couple of staff members who had management of their Facebook page. They kept access to their page, which was great, but they lost their business manager access. And we're now going through an extensive process with Facebook to access that business manager account. So looking at who's got access to the tools in your business, making sure you've kept a good record, the right people have got them, and you've got a consistent database somewhere, even if it's in hard copy, of all the different marketing and accounting platforms and HR platforms, tools that you're using, and have it together so that, you know, when things go wrong and people leave or change, you've always got access to them. There's nothing worse than having to go into bat with an organisation like Facebook or Google, for that matter, and say, help us, we need access to our tools. Everything's achievable, but gee, it takes some work to get there.
Yeah, on that, I was actually talking to someone just yesterday who rang me in a bit of a panic that they'd taken up a job with a client, and the client had sacked their previous VA, for example, and that VA had access to everything in her own email. Nothing was in the business's email. And now this other VA is trying to pick up the pieces, and it is very, very difficult. So it's really important that if you are running on multiple systems and different programs, that you know exactly what those emails and logins are. Use a password manager, share the passwords, but you know, if you're the owner, make sure you are the owner of the password, because someone can leave and delete those passwords out of their password manager. Password's gone for you as well. So just, you know, make sure you've got that access and you've got that control. Certainly.
So 2 hobby horses for this week. Try, don't gamble, and second one is keep a good records of and make sure you've got tools you need to do your job.
Perfect. Well, guys, that was a very informative one. A couple of different topics there for us today, guys. A few things for thought about where you should look and make sure you're meeting things. If you do need help with any of that ATO or FBT or what was the other one, TPAR, you definitely get in touch with your accountant. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your accountant about it, please feel free to book in your free one-on-one advice session with Kingsley if you are a Businessist member. And in terms of the marketing and the email marketing, you know, you've got a session with Anthony as well, guys. We're coming to this sort of 3 and a bit months left of this year. So for some of you, that's 3.5 months left of your membership that you still can access these sessions. So be sure to use them. Use the resources. We're all here to help you achieve the best things for your business. So that's it for me, guys. Anything else? Thank you.
That's us.
Nothing. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.